Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Tristan Walter.
Tristan. What the hell did I just watch?
I don't know, Matt. You're going to have to ask the alien skeletons.
You were supposed
Even Indy
to say
doesn't
the
know.
name of the movie that we're doing today. Thank you, Tristan.
Oh, well.
We're all on the same page here. You're supposed to say the name of the film, Indiana Jones and
the
the
Kingdom
of
of
the
the
Crystal
Skull.
Fuck. Oh, right, Skull, yeah.
No, the Crystal Mindfuck.
The Crystal Mindfuck, thank you. Okay, so here's the thing, right? So I am a little nervous. I don't want anyone to send me death threats, unless, of course, to be fair, you are listening, so thank you. But I did not think this movie is as bad as everyone has told me since it came out. This is my first time watching. However, that does not mean that we're going to go on an Indiana Jones for Love Fest, because that's not what this podcast is going to be about. I'm not going to let that happen here. But I still don't think that this movie should be looked at as either like the worst movie ever, first off, obviously, or the worst Indiana Jones film, because I feel like at least it can be tied with Temple of Doom. Like, you know what I think it is? I think many people don't, I don't know what it is, they just don't either maybe know much about Indian culture or, don't know people who, have their ties, roots, in Indian culture. They are Indian. So, or have family that are. So it's just it's strange to me, I guess, that people would sit there and go, no, Temple of Doom was great. Like, I wonder if, I don't know, because here's the thing, I didn't see the first one, right? I told you that I had some critiques on the first one, but I really liked it. I really did. I know we had our critiques on the first one, on the first Indiana Jones movie, but I really liked it. But then the second one, it just really, I know it sounds weird to shit on another movie in the same franchise during this podcast, but I'm saying it simply because there's so many people out there. Like, I feel like it's just nostalgia, at least for the second one.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know why. I don't know why someone would really sit there and just, unless they really
hysterical.
don't. What?
Because when you were texting me like, oh, you hadn't watched it yet, you were like so excited to do the next indie movie because we did pretty well with the first one, even with a few critiques here and there. It was still a good movie. And you were like, oh yeah, I can't wait to do Indy 2. Like, dude, have you watched it yet? And I'm just like, should I tell him?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I feel like I need to say something, but I just don't know how to break it to him.
You know what's really funny? What's really funny is I think I've told you this. I don't know if it's in person or on the show before, but I'm pretty sure I've told you. Oh man, what if the new Indiana Jones movie, like the newest one coming out, has like his son? And you gave me this look, I think, once, like, how do I tell him? And now it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had never seen the Indiana Jones films. I only know certain pop culture references like Kalima or I can't think of anything else off my head, top of my head. But like I know certain pop culture references because Indiana
the theme
Jones.
Song.
I mean, come on. Well, of course, no. Yeah,
the hat.
Fucking course, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm talking about like scenes from the movies that even though I've never seen them, you could tell me like Kalima, and I'm like Indiana Jones. Right?
Oh, you could also do the boulder gag.
Yes, of course, the boulder gag, yes. What's funny enough is I played the Indiana Jones Lego game with my little brothers, so I do know about the boulder scene,
right.
Yeah. But anyway, and what's funny is in that game, I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the show before, but it's our last indie movie for now, so I mean, I guess we should say it. If you mess up the boulder scene, because you have to run from it, if you mess it up so many times, after God knows how many times you mess it up and you die from the boulder, they will actually play a cutscene that shows you, like, living. So that they're kind of like, I'm sorry, kid, we got to get you out of here, man.
You paid
it's
what,
hilarious.
$50 for this? Like, come on, we gotta get this show on the road.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, this is a strange movie for me because here's the thing, right? At first, I felt like they were kind of departing from what the original Indiana Jones was all about in a way, right? Like they were kind of like, oh, let's get away from because of it being in the 50s and everything, it was kind of getting away from this very much like we're going to be in the forest adventuring and shit, right?
Right.
So I was a little concerned at first because, I don't know, to me, I feel like when you bring a franchise back, right, and of course it was like 19 years since the previous one. When you bring a franchise back, I know that the filmmaker in me and many other filmmakers should say, no, you have to bring something new to the table, right, brand new. I mean, just revitalize the character and change everything about it. But the problem is the fan in me knows that myself and other fans included don't want to see that completely.
No.
And I don't think, it's funny, many will say, but the Crystal Skull changed everything. No, it was just one level up over fucking Nazi ghosts. Like, we had Nazi ghosts in the first one. Please remember, they weren't Nazi ghosts, but eventually,
no.
we
had ghosts.
We had ghosts, and
we
then
had
they
ghosts
turned
that blew up
yes.
Nazis.
Yes, but then, of course, the Nazis became ghosts later. Keep up, Tristan. That's what happens when people die. They become ghosts. Keep up.
Okay.
But all seriousness,
you mean they don't become enlightened aliens and get, blown up into fire and go to a different dimension?
First off, they were never aliens. They were interdimensional beings. The Doctor was even there. So I don't know why you're trying. The Doctor was there.
Oh, shit.
Did you know that or no? No, I'm not kidding you. Okay, you know the guy that went crazy? Right?
Oh, crap.
That's the War Doctor. That's the War Doctor from Doctor Who.
Yes. Because I saw the name at the beginning in the credits. I'm like, John Hurt. Oh, shit. I didn't know he was in this. And then I completely forgot. I'm like, oh, it's like the one time in my life I'm like, oh, I know that actor. He's what else did he do? Oh, I know he's done a lot of great things. He's a great guy. He's the fucking goddamn War Doctor.
And he's did a lot of other stuff too, but for you and I think Doctor Who. He's been in Harry Potter as well. But
yes.
But yes. So, for you and I think just Doctor Who. Yeah, we've done some Doctor Who shows before. Myself and many other podcasters that we've had on the show, we've kind of just done hot potato with Doctor Who. But yeah, it's really funny how it's just like John Hurt. I was like, yeah, that does sound familiar. Oh shit. So I sat there and I'm like, is Tristan gonna know? Because I got to be honest, they made him look real good. As in, I know this came out before Doctor Who, no shit. But the point is that either way, I can't tell that either one was him. You know what I mean? Like it was that good of a makeup job. Anyway. But yeah, I don't think that this was a departure of because they were still in the forest looking for shit. I'm sorry, that's Indiana Jones for me. Are you in the forest? Yes. Are you looking for ancient shit? Yes. Good fucking job. You did it.
Yeah.
Right? But the beginning of the movie, I don't know. I felt like it was like, is he going to really be working with the Russians for the entire movie? I mean, I know it isn't the worst thing, but it's just like I felt like it was, and also him running in with the U.S. government and them kind of tracking him a little bit, which frankly I'm upset that subplot was just fucking dropped. But it was still there, and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, so are we? Is this what the movie's going to be about? It's going to be grittier? Because, again, because here's the way I look at it, right? When you bring a franchise back, look at Episode 7, Star Wars, right? Hey, that also has Lucas involved, sort of. Yeah, when you bring that back, right, you many people say, oh, Episode 4 is very much like Episode 7. But I'm okay with that. Once you get to Episode 8 now, though, I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, so that's like Episode 5, that's like Episode 5. No, now we can branch off. So if they had made an Indiana Jones 5, frankly, I don't know why 4 seemed like a really good ending. 3 fucking did too, but whatever, here we are. So,
yeah,
I don't, I think if Indiana Jones 5 had happened, then it would have been like, okay, yeah, now we can depart and maybe do some different things here. But when you bring a franchise back, I don't really think you should depart from it too much, unless, of course, you're doing a reboot. Not a fan of them, but unless you're doing a reboot, then it's like, yeah, you can have a female Indiana Jones if you're doing a reboot. Because none of the other ones mattered if you're doing a reboot. I don't understand the problem with, reboots changing characters. I mean, I get it if you're trying to come from, a superhero standpoint. Oh, but this person's going to be changed, and that's strange and different to me because comic books. But when it comes to, Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, I'm sorry. You can have a female Indiana Jones. You can.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an established character in comic form, you know, like for years and years and years. No, like Lucas made him up one day. Like you can have a female Indiana Jones. I'm sorry, you can't. Like I'm sorry if anyone's really sitting there like I guess angry. I don't know. Like
But Matt, are you saying that
what?
you're not for, you know, Indiana, a real American hero? What are you with the Reds?
Wait, what? I don't know. You can be a real American female hero.
No, I mean,
but yeah, I know what you're saying. You're being
I mean, as more
anyway,
of like
so,
redefining the character kind of thing.
I know, but in all seriousness, though, right? At first I thought they were trying to change things up in a bad way, right? Because the good way you change things up, in my opinion, is focusing on Indy's age. Because guess what? People age, right? Like
right.
Harrison Ford, despite what he can do at his age, still a real human being.
Yeah.
Right? Still a person who is old. So I understand them trying to focus on that. Now, before I continue ranting on, my question is, did you like them focusing on how old he was?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, you know, it's still amazing the shit that he can take at his age at this point.
Yes.
In the movie timeline, I guess you could say. But, I mean, I could believe it.
Well, to a certain degree. I mean, I found certain parts unbelievable, and that's why I didn't like about the movie. I think the narrative was a bit too much. Like at first, when he, let's say, crashes into the car, where he's like, I thought that was closer. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, good. That seems like something you can take. Once they're just like, you know what we should do? What should we do? Okay, all right. Remember from Temple of Doom, we already have a problem right here. Do you remember in Temple of Doom when they fell out of that plane and then lived? That seemed pretty unbelievable. And Indy was also very young at the time. How about now, nuclear bombs? You know, I don't know about that one.
No, but hear me out. He can get in a lead-lined refrigerator, and the radiation won't affect him. Okay, all right. There's a certain bit of truth to that. All right, I'll give you that. But the shock wave from the explosion of the bomb and sending this refrigerator ascending sky high and then landing multiple times.
Yeah, here's the thing too, right? If you told me, here's the thing, man. If you told me, oh, but a younger Indiana Jones, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm cool with that, right? But another thing too is like,
to be fair, I don't think anyone of any age would have survived a drop like that.
I'm not saying they could. I'm just saying if you're trying to tell me younger Indiana Jones, right? You could explain away a lot of shit. They explained away a lot of shit by saying, but young Indiana Jones. You've gone fucking okay. Again, the plane should not have worked. But younger Indiana Jones. But we fucking have him survive it. But again, it's not just that he survived the explosion. Because if he had said, oh well, yeah, honestly, I'm more spry than ever. You know, like age doesn't affect me. As much as that sounds like bullshit to us, at least it's kind of like, okay, keep up this narrative, like whatever. Indiana Jones is apparently a fucking superhero. But when you have him sit there and go, man, I'm getting old. Hey, we were spry. You know, we were good. We had guns then. Right? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, we had guns. Like, that's what they're trying to go with. And then all of a sudden, it's just, actually, apparently I'm good with nukes. Good shit. Good shit. Cue the music, John. Like, yeah, John Williams, everybody. Give him a hand. Like, how the fuck did you not even break one bone? Like, just like one bone. Like, ow, my hand. No, he's just good. Like, that's my problem, I think, with the film. That they were trying to go a bit too much in, like, and they were trying to go for the narrative like, oh no, I am an elderly. But then all of a sudden just, nah, I'm just me. Again. The me you remember. Like, I think it was a bit too much, I think. Where, like, I don't know if this had, like, any kind of, like, really harsh rewrites or any kind of reshoots. Because usually we see something like this in a reshoot where you just have a lot of these plot points just either dropped or, you know, they're not really delved into too much. And it sucks because this movie was 2 hours long. In my opinion, they had enough time to deal with either an older indie or cut that out or delve more into the whole Americans are following you plot. Like, it was kind of like, oh, man, these Americans are coming after you until they're not. And I know, it's like, well, Matt, you know, his friend came in and was like, hey, Indy's cool. We're all good here. But still, like, they got him fired from his job. They were clearly somewhat after him. It was just kind of weird that, like, out of nowhere, it was like, I know you thought it was Americans having, like, an issue with Indy, but really, it's now the Russians again. And it's just like, so the Americans are just not. Yeah,
well,
no, which,
I mean,
by the way,
you know, we couldn't do Nazis anymore, so we had to, you know, move on to the next political rival.
World War II, you know what it is? World War II ended, right? Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like, sorry, like, we can't just focus on Nazis anymore. Even though I will admit, if Nazis are in the new film, I'm okay with that because, like, I'm okay with, like, this idea that, like, a bad guy group, be they fake groups or be they things like Nazis, they're not dead. And to be fair, they're in real life, they're not. Right?
They just
like,
be
they're not
neo-Nazis.
doing. Yes. Now, they're not doing the stuff that, you know, like Hitler and his Reich did, but they're still, like you said, they're still, you know, neo-Nazis.
They're still assholes.
Nazis. So, yeah, they're still assholes. So it's a thing where.
That would be interesting.
And I will admit. Yeah, I will admit, though.
Like, the next indie movie is just, you know, Indy Jr. just going to, like, a neo-Nazi rally and beating the crap out of them.
What's really funny is, you know what's really funny? You have to understand. You're like, oh, it's Indy Jr. I just imagine current-day Shia LaBeouf beating up Nazis.
Oh, God.
Like with the shaved head and the beard and everything. I feel like you know what's the sad thing? I feel like you're probably gonna have to recast Indy's kid. Like, I don't think Shia LaBeouf is coming back. Like, the only way I think you get Shia LaBeouf to he has enough money. He's really content with his life. Like, I think the only way you can get him to film Indy 5 is you just tell him that it's like a performance art piece. And the entire time he's in the movie, he's just beating up Nazis. And he doesn't know why. He just thinks it's a performance art piece. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he has enough money that he doesn't feel the need to do films like this. And, you know, it's a bit similar to Robert Pattinson, right? Robert Pattinson or Kristen Stewart? No? She was in Twilight? That's what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah. The idea is that they were in Twilight. They got their money. Now they get to do their own indie projects or any other movie that they wish without worrying about, oh, no, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think about, but, like, literally, Pattinson was so happy to be out of Twilight because he didn't sit there going, man, I love this franchise. Now, I don't know how, you know, I don't know how Shia LaBeouf feels about either Transformers or about, you know, Indiana Jones. I don't. Like, hey, he could have been really happy being Indiana Jones' kid. But I'm just saying that that's a really good paycheck, you know? And if that's what you want, you know, paychecks, because very large paychecks or a lot of recognition so that you can be able to choose what you want and do what you want. Obviously, I think even if he didn't like the role, it would have been silly for him to turn it down. That's what I'll say. When someone comes up to you, Tristan, it's like, you're such a good actor, you're going to be, you know, you audition, you're going to be Indiana Jones' kid. You just sit there and you go, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, but now the second time, though, now that he's a bit older, I mean, he's already 30, I don't know if he's going to want to do it again. And I'm okay with that if he doesn't. Now, I'm not saying I don't like him because here's the thing, right? Funnily enough, I don't think he's a bad actor, but I didn't so much like him in this role, at least in the beginning. Now, if he's going to be a calmer, cooler guy, I'm okay with him as this character. But the problem was that the character was trying to be rebellious, but I don't think it was like, in my head, he didn't come off as like a nerd trying to be rebellious. Like, I think he works very well as more of an awkward kind of character, a bit like Sam Witwicky in Transformers. I feel weird about him trying to play this greaser character because I don't know. I know. Look, as an actor, I understand. Acting is acting. It's that fucking simple, right? You can act. You can be what you want to be. But the thing is I feel like being 5'3", cannot be an intimidating greaser. Now, he's taller than me, of course. But still, my point is that, like, no matter what, even though it's like, but Matt, you are an actor. It's just like, yes, but I feel like if you're looking for, a big, intimidating guy, I'm not the guy. I will say that he looks like a young Harrison Ford in a way, which was funny.
Yeah.
Because I saw the slick back hair, and I was like, you look like, oh, God, he's going to be his fucking kid, isn't he? The mom's name's Mary? I was like, they didn't say Marion, but it's probably going to be a fucking kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then it happened. But anyway, so what were you going to say? I'm sorry?
No,
You had something important?
I was just going to say, like, I kind of liked him in this, but I thought, I don't know. I guess I thought the greaser was appropriate. Like, it fits in with the time period, and, I feel like it's more of a mentality and how you kind of present yourself, because he came off pretty convincingly to me, I suppose. Like, for the time period, like, being a greaser, I don't necessarily think of immediately, like, giant jacked guy, in a giant leather jacket.
I don't even mean jacked necessarily. I don't know, something about, maybe it's just his voice. And I feel bad because, like, I don't hate him. Like, I'm not sitting here, I just don't feel like he came off as intimidating. He just came off as sometimes angry and then pretty much, like, calm. Sometimes kind of angry. Out of nowhere. But, like, again, I don't want to blame that on his acting ability because I really do like him as an actor. I don't know, I didn't see him. Now, I'm not saying that I disliked him. And, again, I want to see him again. I hope he can do another Indiana Jones movie if they're going to go with this kid. Like, it would really fucking suck if Indy's just looking up at another fucking, like, like, memorial picture and it's his fucking son. Like, guys, can we just not have him with his dad? Sean Connery's still alive.
No, just be it like Willie comes in. I have your son. Oh God.
But
like you have a new kid. Wait a minute. That didn't happen.
God. That would be great. Honestly,
no, it
look,
wouldn't.
This is how I look at it, right? This is how I look at it. If we're not going to get Shia LaBeouf back in a new movie, just bring back Short Round. But we're not there yet. We'll be there when we get there. For right now, let's talk about this and how it felt weird to me, again, talking about, like, the difference between, like, it felt like I was, in a way, watching two movies, where it's like, oh, no, Indiana Jones gets fired. This is so sad, isn't it? Nah, not the fuck, really. He's going to fucking go to Peru and shit. Like, I felt like I was watching two different
was
films.
really sad?
What?
Well, when they were back at home looking at the desk and realized that, oh, yeah, everyone has aged, so Marcus and Daddy are not here.
No, yes. Well, yeah, no, it is sad, of course. It's not like it's something you have to address, but it just felt strange to me, I think, that they went so hard on that, and then they were just like, but in case you forgot, everybody, ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da, do not feel sad. It's kind of like, no, I'm kind of feeling a little sad right now. Are we really, like come on, guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I want to say, though, is I like, back to why, us sitting here and going, I don't understand why everyone's so frustrated by this movie, right? As funny, as the movie went on, I could note more and more, like, okay, yes, this would, make a person upset. This would make a person upset, right? But even someone that said, I don't want Shia LaBeouf being Indiana Jones' kid. Yeah, well, the character got his ass kicked really hard in this movie. Like, not that I think you should appreciate him for that, but at least you should be like, oh, that's nice. Like, I don't know, like, you shouldn't be that upset. Like, not like the kid was like, it's not like it was like, you're Indiana Jones' son, and immediately just, oh, and then Mutt was raised to heaven by angels. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, like, it's not like it was just like the second that it happened. It was just like, I will admit, though, I have to say this. The fact that he was able to hurt the Russian woman with a rapier, like, fuck that. I'm sorry. Like, maybe he went to some private schools where he was taught how to use it, which I assume he would, because, again, he was, he dropped out of these private schools, and I assume he would be the one to go for a rapier. But still, The problem is that, like, he's fucking, like, I just don't feel like he should be able to outperform her at all.
Yeah, versus military Russian. Yeah.
I do think he can take the punches, though. I think that was okay.
No,
like
I mean,
her.
He could take a few punches, but out swordsmanshiping her, no.
I was like, this is stupid. The amount of stupid this is pretty stupid. That, and I understand that some people, including myself, including you, were not happy with the CGI.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't really get mad about CGI stuff because, I mean...
I get mad at bad CGI. This was bad CGI.
Depending on how, like, if it's overly used or not, I usually don't tend to care too much because, yes, granted, technology has gotten better over the years, but there have been plenty of stuff in the past that has had CGI and special effects and stuff, and it's like, okay, so it's not the best, but they pulled it off, you know, with what they had decently anyway. So I tend to kind of just, I don't know. It's hard to,
here's
give
what
a
it is,
decent answer, I guess, but...
You know what I think it is, too, and I'm very sorry to say this. I'm going to come off like a dick, and I'm sorry, everyone, that I'm doing this to Tristan. You don't have a large TV. I feel like that might affect things when you're like, oh, that looks like a normal scene. And I have a bigger TV, and I'm like, that
and
looks like
Blu-ray player.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. And just, I'm sorry, but I want to watch this movie with you now in person, and you'll see maybe like in the beginning, right? In the beginning when it was Indiana Jones and the Russian woman and Mac and everything, it did not look like, for some of those scenes, that they were actually outside. It looked like they were, you know, like around a green screen in some studio.
Right.
Or even
for
later
like
in the film.
The cliff
even
run?
in the forest, too. Yeah, yes, well, it's funny. When they fell off a cliff, I was like, okay, that actually looks like that's scenes from a car falling off a cliff, actually. That was done well if it was, you know, if it wasn't real. But when they're in the forest, though, right now, obviously it's like, well, yes, obviously you're not going to have Shia LaBeouf standing on two cars. I'm not talking about that. You know, and I'm not going to talk about him, like, obviously it's like, well, he's not going to really be, you know, like, swinging on vines. But he technically could be if you were going to have a real person do it and try to somewhat superimpose his face or have it happen from very far away or something. But no, it's because, you know, they want to get real close and personal with it. And the monkeys. I mean, my God, the monkeys. You know, just a lot about the forest was just so manufactured that it was, and even like when they're like walking up, they're like, okay, you know, we're walking up this. And here's the thing too, like, I'm not saying it's like, guys, we have to now make a temple in Peru. We're like, no, let's not make temples in Peru. Let's not just fuck with the forests in Peru. All right?
Right.
But the thing is, though, is you can make sets. That's the thing. That's my thing. It's not about, oh, you know, you're stuck inside. That's the problem. It's make sets and then CGI when needed. The problem was, I don't feel like this movie was when needed. It was, even though they tried to say, oh, no, we were using practical effects. We really wanted to use practical effects. And I'm like, I'm sure you guys maybe did or maybe tried. Like, heck,
At some point you wanted to,
saying,
but...
No, here's the thing. I'm sure that them saying practical effects, right? Maybe it meant, like, Shia LaBeouf actually held on to two ropes, but in a factory somewhere with a green screen behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's maybe what they mean by some of the, you know, practical effects, right? Like, obviously, when they were in that actual warehouse, it wasn't like that was all behind a green screen, I would assume, although it fucking could have been. But again, if it was, that was good because I couldn't tell. But in the forest, it was just very, very hard. It was like King Kong, the newer one, I think, from the mid-2000s. You know the one with Jack Black? Yeah,
yes.
It's like that one. You know, the problem, and it sucks because while CGI, I would argue, it's funny to say, it's the best it's ever been. Yes, because we're in current day. It always is the best it's ever been when you're talking about it in current day, whatever the current day is, in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 80s. But the thing is that I feel like because this movie coming out in 2009, it was a very weird point because while it was the best of its time, because of course they spent a lot of money on this movie, best of its time, but I feel as if it's gotten so much better since then, just even a couple years later with something like The Avengers with Hulk. right? That it wasn't a good blend job, quote unquote. And I think that's also another problem too, where it's like if they focus all their time making just one monkey, it might be able to work. But the fact they had to make the whole forest and make everyone blend, it's very very hard. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And
it's
something that was also hard, I think. I'm sorry to interrupt with episodes, because you look at episodes 1, 2, and 3, right? If you're talking about Star Wars. It was pretty hard there too, but thankfully, they were probably like, okay, we'll focus on, like, let's say, deserts or something, kind of easy. But in episode 2, when it was the new, like, the futuristic city, that was pretty hard to watch.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the forest was a bit like that, where it was just a bit too video gamey. And again, I'll bring you over to try to, like, explain to you what I mean by that, because I know I sound like a dick, and I'm sorry, dude. But because of the smaller TV, like, it's the same reason why, like, certain things on VHS didn't look as bad when we were kids, because our TVs were really, really small. But
and
now,
that's basically all I've had for my life. VHS, small TVs, and DVD players.
You've gotten a little bit bigger than the old. You've gotten a little bit bigger. But, yes, I agree. Like, I agree with your message. And I'm sorry about that. It's just like...
No, I mean, I get it.
It's hard.
It's just, like, I don't always feel like I can, I don't know, I suppose deliver the criticism, because it just CGI, stuff like that, I really... Whether it's whether I'm not viewing it in the highest quality, whether that's it, or whether I just I don't know. I just don't criticize that so much as other things in a movie.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this to you. You criticize it when we watch Super Sentai on my large TV, so what does that mean?
Did I?
You like the fights. You like the choreography, but the CGI, you were like,
no,
maybe I should watch Kamen Rider.
I remember what it was. It was, oh, God, I can't remember the name of it. Gozar?
Dairanger. Oh,
no, it wasn't Sentai.
Yes. No, yes, it was.
It was the transformation scene into, like, the armor. And the reason, like, I like the original, like, with Sentai, how they did the sparks and shit, and, like, rubber suits, and, like even with,
Yes, you do.
I like stuff like that. It looks more realistic, even though it's set in a cartoon, so it's like, I don't know, it's very hard to explain.
No,
but, I like that better than the, like, full CGI, like, suit thing, and then it's a fight, and then I'm like,
okay. So, yes, you're referring to old Sentai versus new Sentai, as in they're actually in suits versus they're in full CGI suits.
Right, and there's actual, like, fight choreography,
right? But
even though they're in suits kind of thing.
That's how I feel about this film, because I'm saying that when they got later into the, later into the film, it felt as if, even by
they're
the way,
not using as many practical effects like they would originally, like they have done in the past.
And the problem is, you're not looking. Yes, and because you're not looking at it at a large CGI'd monster, it doesn't register in your brain as fake.
Right.
Because you're not seeing the large. You're seeing it on smaller screens. But if you end up seeing it, I would argue, on larger screens, you're going to be like, that doesn't look like it, quote unquote, blends correctly. Because we've talked about green screen stuff before. We've used it in the past.
Yeah.
You really got to make sure that your lighting's okay. But it's hard to do that when you have 4 people on screen. So again, I don't blame. I'm blaming technology at the time, not the people behind it. Although I am blaming the overuse of it. But I'm sure it was a lot cheaper than going on scene for some of it.
Right.
So, yeah. Also, the fridge scene, by the way, wasn't done that well. Like, when it exploded?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, mind you, I'm not saying, you fucking put Ford in that fridge, you say we're paying you fucking money, and you blow up the damn fridge with nuclear weapons. I'm not saying we should do that. It would look great on camera, but I'm not saying we should do that.
Right.
I understand why we wouldn't. But yeah, so, but again, despite us ranting about it like we have, again, I still don't understand why people don't like it as much. Because the CGI wasn't the entire film. Shia LaBeouf wasn't. It's funny. If anyone says Shia LaBeouf was an annoying piece of shit, that's the point of the character. So good job. You know, that was the point. Like, Shia LaBeouf was not meant to be likable as this character, in my opinion. Like, he was meant to be kind of a jerk. And that's the point. He grows with the movie, and he becomes better with the movie as it goes on. And at least becomes funnier. Although I have to say, the movie was pretty funny, and it's weird, too, because I, in my opinion, I feel like, from what I've heard anyway, people didn't like the humor in this movie. You know, and it's kind of like, guys, you remember the first few, right?
Right.
You know, I don't like. I like when they slide in on the motorcycle. Still unrealistic because, god damn it, you just fucking said how old Indy was. But they slide in on the motorcycle into Indy's old job, and she's like, Mr. Jones.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I'm having some problems with this.
Are you that buried in your book that, like, I applaud you that you're applying yourself that hard, that you're really digging into those books and really trying to, you know, ace it for that next exam. But, kid, get some perspective. Your professor just slid in on a motorcycle with a greaser into the middle of your library and nearly ran over you. Like, I mean, not ran over you, but nearly toppled you in your chair, and you're not affected by this in the slightest.
No, but it was priceless. Just, you have to, you know, read this guy instead of this guy. He actually got out and went onto the field more. Remember, kid, you don't always be stuck in the library.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, if you want to be a good archaeologist, you got to get out of the library. I mean, honestly, that is,
what?
Yeah. I mean, yes, you do.
No, it's, you know what's funny? It's very much true, but it's still kind of silly based on the original idea behind Indiana Jones. Like, you get out the library, you don't fucking look for, you know,
you don't,
my question
you don't go pilfering through ancient tombs.
Yes, it is. My question is, do you think this Indiana Jones is, the way he comes off in this movie, is better than he has in previous movies? More quote-unquote realistic, or a better teacher?
I guess maybe since he's older, maybe he's a little more invested in his actual teaching job because he probably doesn't go out into the field, quote-unquote, as much as he used to. So he's a little more like, all right, yeah, I'll take your questions. Like, I really want to start passing on some of this knowledge to the next generation kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
okay.
But the golden rule with Indy and his students always, to me, felt like, do as I say, not as I do.
Right. But I think it's nice that but I feel like it's nice that he's teaching now, like, do as I do, but not as much as I do. Because, like you said, it is nice to get out into the field, just not pilfer, you know?
Right. I mean, at the same time, a lot is still done in the library. It's like, and even more so done with trying to get a grant to do an excavation.
I know it's funny. What's funny is I love how you're sitting there talking about grants. You and I just did for a Friday Night Movies episode. We did Ghostbusters, and then they got their grant taken away, so they couldn't, you know, solve the ancient ghost crystal skulls. You know, they couldn't do that.
That's a bad. Yeah, that's a bad.
Yeah, but yeah, so no, it is very hard to get that, I would imagine. But no, yeah, I wanted your take on Indiana Jones. Not, of course, on his actions, because his actions are still the same as they were in the first three movies. Find shit that isn't mine. Take it. Museums don't need this. That was his. Although it's funny because when he took them, I'm sorry, museums need this, not your country's museum. But museums need this. But what I find very interesting is how this movie, it kind of departed away from that, but you can clearly tell that this wasn't something that was going to come back to his museum, in my opinion.
Right.
Like,
well, this was funny because it felt like the biggest twist to me as an Indiana Jones movie. It's like, holy shit, Indy's actually returning an artifact to where it's supposed to be.
Yes, which is hilarious. That's not what's supposed to happen. Why didn't he fucking steal? This is the problem with our PG culture.
Dude, why didn't you bring it back to London? Put that shit in an exhibit. Like, you're always saying put it in a museum. It's like, Do you want this thing to drive every 5-year-old insane that walks past it and looks into its eyes?
Yeah, I assume that's why.
What I thought.
Also, yeah, I assume that's why it was kind of like, we should probably put this back to whence it came. You know, I think I think that's where it deserves to be. Now, the reason why I'm what?
That's honestly like why I thought the Russian woman, the leader, was KGB. That's what it was. Was kind of appropriate for this because she was all about psychic warfare. And during the Cold War, that was actually kind of a thing that was going on. Like, they took a little, not as big, but there were programs that were like, yeah, let's get psychic soldiers that can, be used as double agents or can, see into the minds of our enemies and take their tactics and stuff like that. So
yeah,
when
there were a lot of scary, and I say scary because of I can't remember the names behind the different projects, but there were a lot of things going on where it was not just Russian government, us as well. CIA trying to see if LSD would help you get be able to, I guess, I'm trying to think of how to word this, I guess, just how to, I don't want to say see into the future, but I guess, like precognitive abilities, if that can be, unlocked or achieved via things like LSD or other drugs that would kind of free your mind, things like truth serum that arguably exist, but they don't exist as much as the way like movies portray them.
You present them,
but,
right,
Yeah, but they technically do exist, and us looking for ways to make kind of truth serums, it's very intriguing when you look into it. Some really crazy stuff. And that's why, they of course, and they made it into this film. And I know that the Russian government wanted to ban this film. They're very upset by it. I understand their concern. I do. But look, in my opinion, it's like they were the quote unquote they were the American enemy at the time. And you know what? It's like, look, we never had a Rocky situation either. You know what I mean? Like, I know this is a lot. No, we didn't though. Like, we never had an Ivan Drago, but it came out in the 80s, and that was our way of feeling like, yes, America versus Russia, because it was a Cold War. It was cold, as in not hot, as in nothing actually happened in terms of like fighting prowess. It was all just like, let's see if we can, get over the other one via like sending someone to space.
I mean, it was an arms race.
Yeah, it was an arms race.
Who's the better country?
In that way, it's scary. Yeah, in that way,
basically
it's
a giant pissing contest. But then again, what war is it? So. Yeah,
it's scary when you call it an arms race. It's nicer sounding when you call it a pissing contest, and it feels better when you talk about it feels better when you talk about, let's say, like, space exploration, because it's like, we'll get there first. In a way, I prefer that kind of fighting rather than like the whole I'll outdo you and try to do better in my own country versus,
but
you know
of course,
what? I want to kill you the most. But there were nuclear arms involved as well. So let's be real.
The subtext of the space race was like, who could get a satellite in the air first? And it's like, what could we do with this satellite? Like, we can hit you from space, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, oh shit, we got to get in there and hit them from space first.
Of course. There's always a negative to that positive, because that's why the word fucking war was used. There's a reason why the word war was used, children. But so I prefer, but still, like, the point is that, like, I'm okay with having them like this, because again, like, we didn't have the Ivan Drago situation, but that was our way of feeling like, yes, we fought the Russians, right?
Yeah.
So it happened here. I know it happened very late. This movie didn't actually take place in the 50s or in the 80s, but still, like, I understand it being a thing. From that, having the Russians be the bad guys.
Right. What? I feel, it's like, it's kind of that weird, like, this movie is supposed to take place in the past, but it's coming out, later on when these events are technically not, like, you can't rewrite the past. Shit has happened. Very bad shit has happened.
Yes. But if it makes you feel any better, none of the Indiana Jones movies have ever been based on accurate information.
This is also true.
And they do it. Again, we talk about, that's the reason why we're upset about Temple of Doom, because you had, India tell Lucas, you can't film here because of the way you're portraying our people. And George
Right.
Lucas did not sit there and go, well, then maybe some of this is offensive. He said, all right, so we're filming in Sri Lanka. Now, we hired people that he knew that were experts in the subject, and that's why you had some of the things come out, and they weren't completely fictitious. Some weren't completely fictitious. However,
Right.
of course, the issue is that when you attach the idea of monkey brains and eyeball soup, monkey brains being a legitimate thing that some aristocracy eat, eyeball soup not, to Indian culture,
Yeah.
that's just inaccurate and that's wrong. Same thing with Kali, but we won't get there at this. We're not going to go into that again.
Yeah. We've had
But
that
when
discussion.
yes, we have a discussion. I mean, again, you look at the first movie, right? And it's like we're Germans the bad guys. Yes, obviously, no fucking shit, right? So that's why it's a bit different than the Russians. They clearly were like doing bad things. Nazis, everybody.
Right. Well,
we're Germans.
see,
We're
the thing
Nazis
with
the bad guys
that,
at the time. What?
Yeah, you can have Nazis being the bad guy, and no one will get upset because
Yes.
no
yes.
one
But that's why
likes
the KGB,
Nazis, and that's portraying a a political ideology, not people.
Mhm.
When you use
Right.
technically when you're using the Russian KGB,
Mhm.
they're still soldiers, basically like our CIA. So
Very true. Very true. And that's why I think
a little
Nazis
more
again
tricky.
Nazis again would have been okay with me, but I don't know.
Right.
I agree with you. It's pretty bad, but you know what it is? I feel like it is. I can accept it. If you're going to tell me either choose between that or choose between Peruvian monkey people with face masks that shoot poison bugs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I go
Yeah.
with the KGB. I'm sorry. I don't again, it's fictionalizing history based on an actual event that happened. We know that the
Right.
KGB wasn't doing stuff like that. However, there were talks of as much as recently even having people that are quote unquote spying on our country.
Right.
I don't mean to try to come up
sleeper
with
agents.
not sleeper like, oh, give out the secret code, but people actually going, I wonder how these Americans live, right? And reporting
Yeah.
into other nations. That's happened in the past, and it currently happens now even. And I'm not trying to sound like a weirdo, like I'm just being legitimate. Like, it does happen, right?
Right.
So I understand it from that perspective. And again, I understand. I get it. Like, the Russians didn't do the shit that they did. And in fact, if anyone doesn't know, fun fact, apparently Hitler was really into supernatural shit. I don't think we mentioned this. We may have mentioned it on our first show. Hitler was actually into supernatural shit. That's why you have so much fiction related to Hitler, not himself, because they don't usually like to show Hitler for obvious reasons,
Right.
minus Indiana Jones 3.
But
they
Nazis
have,
going after like ancient
Mhm.
artifact sites and stuff like that. Yes.
Yes, and it's happened both in two Indiana Jones movies, and it happened in Captain America.
Right. Yeah.
And a little bit in Doctor Who, I guess, but not so much. I mean, he punched Hitler. Rory did. But anyway,
Yeah.
so he did. Rory punched the fuck
Yeah.
out of Hitler. But anyway, getting back to this film, yeah, I understand the problem that people had, the Russian people had. Personally, though, I want to be outraged. And, like, I'm mildly frustrated. Like, okay, I get it. That sucks. But it's arguably a lot. If we had to compare, and I'm sorry that we do. I'm sorry, Russian people, anyone who's offended, really. I don't have to be Russian to be offended. But
Right.
I feel like it's a lot worse with the way they portrayed Peruvians. Like, that's just, I get it's the 1950s, but the problem is it's not like we're going back to, like, the 1700s or the 1800s here.
Right. It's not like this. It's not like this came out, the 80s.
Yes.
Like,
although, again, I still find that offensive, but I understand your point. Yeah, this came out in
oh
2009.
yeah.
Yeah, it came out in
Right.
fucking 2009. And it's not
It's like
like
this came out
the
in
1950s.
the 2000s. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, guys. We know better than
Yeah.
this by now. Come on.
Well,
We
I don't
knew
think
better
we do,
then.
but we should.
And you just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you that. One thing I'll say, though, is if we had to, again, comparing yet again, compared to what happened later on in the film, right, with the tribesmen, it's a hard situation for you and I because you and I sit there and we're like, no, people are more advanced than that. Even 50, 60 years ago, right?
Well,
But
it's not more of it's not the way of you think, oh, they should be more advanced. It's like, no, there are still people that live in tribes in South America in certain areas around the Amazon that live in a tribal style, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way they've lived for generations, and that's how they survive. They live that way in their environment.
Yeah,
but
very true.
When they're portrayed as, war paint and bones, all
that's
strung to them, and they're chasing after the protagonists with, spears and darts, screaming gibberish, going to kill them. No, that is not okay.
Well, that's why I say advanced in terms of the way they're portrayed, their mentality. Not so much like they should be in. They should look like quote unquote like us. Yes. But what I want to say,
it's like they would basically walk up to you and be like, "So who the hell are you guys?" It's like, welcome to the village, but who the hell are you?
Maybe not in your language, and that's a barrier.
No.
But the fact
obviously.
that they're so violent, like, oh no, outsider. Like,
exactly.
Come on, guys. Yeah. My thing, though, is, right, with that tribe, the way they were, I would argue that, it's behind the waterfall. No one's really talked to them, and they're just like the way they've always been. Like, it's so fucking weird that I have to even fucking say that because it still sounds like bullshit. But it's, in my opinion, less than the Peruvian, like when they were near the grave. And it's just like, oh no, grave people. Ooh. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why do we have them with these bone masks? Did it look quote unquote cool? The bone masks did, yes. Was it cool to portray them that way? No. Like, it's
not
just
really
weird. This like I'm really hoping that, like, I'm assuming 2019 Indiana Jones, I think it's 2019 anyway. 2019 Indiana Jones, it's going to be set in the 80s. What are you going to do next? You have nothing left. Please stop.
Either that, they might, it might not be 70s, 80s. It might just be like a reboot in the sense of, some of Indy's other adventures during, the 30s and 40s kind of thing.
No. But before it is in it.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Ford is in it.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be set in the 80s. Like, what are you going to do? Like, oh, man, Indiana Jones goes to the Hispanic community in New York.
Oh, God.
Like, what the fuck are you going to do to us? You know what I mean? Like, Indiana Jones learns what it means. Indiana Jones looks for the secret Boricua. Like, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, seriously.
No,
like, you can't fucking do
this.
it.
I've got it.
No, please fucking don't. Please fucking don't. You're a white man. Please fucking don't.
Hey, I'm better than that. Shut up. You don't even know the joke I was going to make. It's not even really a joke. Fuck you. I know what I can say and what I can't and what I shouldn't. Just being a human being, not because I'm white. Fuck you.
No, sorry. It's just I'm Hispanic, so I'm going for Hispanic things. So I'm just like,
of course.
We're going to take this London. But anyway, just Indiana Jones and the Phantom of the Opera.
There we go. No, I was going to say Indy in space. Wait.
It worked for
Where
Jason.
have I heard that before? Oh, God.
Indy X. He just gets fucking...
No.
He
Mutant
was frozen.
powers?
He was frozen in carbonite, actually, and he was released in space. And, yeah. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
He digs up,
in the new
he digs up the spaceship.
No. Tristan, no, in the new Indiana Jones movie, Shia LaBeouf's going to kill him. No.
Oh,
not again.
Shit.
No.
I can't handle that again.
And then Marion's going to be sad in the background. No, I'm sorry, not Marion.
God.
No, not Marion. What's the other guy? The one that worked in the school with him? The one that was happy to get rehired? Charlie's going to be in the background. He's going to be like, ooh. It's going to be so sad, dude. It's going to be so sad.
Oh, God.
Charlie's going to be like, ooh. It's going to be so sad. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is where we are right now. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, I don't care what anyone says. I really like the Greaser Preppy fight in the diner where it's like, kids, start something.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. Just get those greasers. I was like, are we fucking doing this right now? We really are?
Yeah.
Great.
Or even,
I was happy with
like
that.
how the movie starts out. It's like, is this an Elvis music video? It's like,
yeah, that's the thing. I didn't
what?
like how the movie. Yeah, I think that the way that I know the point was, oh, you think they're mild-mannered soldiers, but really they're Russians.
KGB.
Although my first thought
right.
was Nazis, but yeah, KGB. Sorry, I should say KGB. Well, my first thought was Nazis, but no, they're KGB. But
yeah. Well, I mean,
you know,
it's an indie movie,
yeah.
so a safe
Yeah.
bet would have been Nazis. So I don't blame you.
Yes, but the thing is I still didn't like it as much because you're completely correct. It's like, I know it's the 1950s. You don't have to, like, shove it in my face. Like, no, fucking take that. Like, it was getting to the point where literally as they're driving, it's just like, ooh, ah. Like, I'm just like, wait. I'm like, are we just going to fucking start this? Met a girl. Oh, God, she just shot me in the face. She has a rap ear. She's in the KGB. Oh, very happy. Very happy, by the way. She did not fall in love with Indy. That I think is the best thing. Actually. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy she was like, you know, I just realized I am KGB, but your penis, it is so American, which means that now I am also American.
Oh, my God.
No, but I'm sorry, but that's how not,
Yes.
I mean, technically, even though I think it was done okay, technically that's fucking what happened in the third movie. And frankly, it's, you know, I just worry that, you know, because again, Hollywood.
Hell, it happened twice.
Twice?
I said it happened twice.
Wait, but yeah, but in the first or second one, I can't remember.
No, in the third
Another
movie.
woman falling. Oh, right. Sorry. No, because I was just like, wait a minute, but there was only. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it. By the way, another thing too that I really didn't like. This actually got me mad. I was like, you know, I wasn't mad, and then just got me mad. The fact that Mac was a triple agent.
Yeah, that just got ridiculous after a while.
No, here's why, right?
Honestly, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he was a triple agent. I think at that point he was just like,
No.
there's a shit ton of gold around here. Fuck everything.
No. He was always with the Russians. This thing, he was always with the KGB. I'm sorry. He was always with the KGB. It was never him not being with the KGB. He was always with them. But my problem with it, right, is the fact that in the first movie, it's like, oh, it's always, you know, it's always the British people that aren't with Indy. You know, it's only happened twice, but there's only been 4 movies. So come on, guys. I can talk about this being a trend. So in this movie, right, it's just like, actually, I'm with them, mate. I'm like, come the fuck on. But then it's just like, I practically told you back there. What were we in Berlin? We were double agents. So I was like, oh, that's great. Good job. This makes me happy. Good shit. Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
CIA. Right.
it's like, yeah, I'm, you know, it's like, I'm with the CIA. Come on. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah, it's cool. Perfect. Like, because they said he used to be CIA. So it's like, oh, yeah, you know, it's something so deep, even those 2 agents. By the way, one of the agents in the beginning being Neil Flynn, who played the janitor on Scrubs.
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear his voice. I was like, hi, how you doing? This is hilarious. But yeah, so you know, I felt really, it just felt shitty that he was just the triple agent or whatever the fuck, you know, he was always working with the KGB. Now I have a question for you. I don't know how to feel about this ending with the spaceship. Like, it feels like bullshit, but I just don't know why. Can you please explain to me, like what do you feel? Do you understand why I feel like it's bullshit? Like, I really don't know how to feel. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's because it's not really rooted in history like the other. I mean, it is, but not in the sense that the other movies were. Like, the ancient artifact was always part of an ancient civilization. And
yeah,
like, in the first movie, like, yes, you know, the ghosts come out of the Ark and, you know, kill the Nazis, but they go away at the end. Well, I mean, the aliens kind of left too, at that sense. Interdimensional beings, however you want to say it.
Yeah. No. Please remember, though, there is talk, and there's been talk for years, that aliens came down, had sexy time with us, and that's how we became the humans that we are today.
Okay.
There's talk about that. I'm not. No, you think I'm kidding? There's talk about that, or there's just talk about generally, like, aliens came down. We were like, you are gods, and they were like, yeah, holy shit, yo. And then they talk just like that.
I feel like
think about
yeah.
it. If they were so advanced at that point, they were in their 2016. They were like, this is fire. It's lit, fam. So to them it was 2016.
Okay.
So
no,
they were,
you know what it is?
Wait,
you know what feels like I think I know what feels like bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Because
I thought you were you were trying to explain to me like, oh, of course they would actually use slang like that. You know, if you look back into ancient text, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh yeah. No,
I was so scared.
Like, what do you think my degree was for?
Ancient alien slang that mirrors our own in 2016. What the
exactly.
fuck? But please go on. Please, I really want to hear what you have to say about this.
So, I think because I started to realize it too. Maybe you felt something different, but by the end of it, how they were saying like, some of the hieroglyphs or maybe not hieroglyphs, but pictograms. There we go. That Indy was pointing out, like, oh, they showed them agriculture and they showed them architecture, and it's like, no. Let's back the fuck up here. Humans, okay. I'm not even talking Mayan. I'm just talking humans, general, across the board, everybody. Humans have come a very fucking long way. We've only been on this planet for about, our species has only been on this planet for about 200,000 years. Taking anthropology, I've kind of come to appreciate that, yeah, we've come a long way. We're not necessarily going in the right direction right now, but that's a whole different can of worms that I'm not even going to... Yeah. So,
I'm just trying to drink, man. I'm just trying to drink some alcohol. Keep going.
It's that he's like, oh, the aliens showed them how to do all this. It's like, no. The Mayans knew how to fucking farm. The Mayans knew how to survive where they were in their environment. It wasn't fucking aliens. I get the whole, like, oh, they couldn't have made this skull. There's no way the people had the technology at that time to physically cut this mineral to make it like this. Like, okay, that I got. And then we realized, oh, it's from a fucking alien skeleton, so that just completely blew that shit out of the water. But it just made it feel like the aliens were behind everything from the very beginning. Like,
you really don't delve into conspiracies a lot, do you?
No, I don't.
But the
problem. Thing is, like,
this is like conspiracy.
No. Like, I get it. I know. Like, the pyramids were constructed by, aliens. People couldn't have possibly figured it out how to do that. I'm sorry.
Except they could. But that's new information. So for years, for at least it seems new.
Exactly. That's the thing. We don't know the full picture because we're still digging it up, and not all of it gets preserved the way in the way that it's presented to us exactly how it was back then. So how the fuck do you know? Okay. No, I'm not saying,
but that's why
I'm not saying that there aren't other explanations for how say the pyramids were built. I'm sure there are various different explanations. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily have to lead to jumping to the aliens told them how to do it. And I'm a guy that believes in, other life forms in our universe. I don't think we're just ones who won the lottery and planet Earth is the only life out there. I'm not saying that
really
either.
Funny, by the way? I just want to laugh really hard right now because, I wanted you to just go, and you want to know how I know all of this? Because aliens were talking to me the other day, and they were like, nah, dude, not us. Other things in the universe.
They're here with me right now, Matt.
Bye.
Yeah.
They're here with you right now.
It's like, I feel like if it was more, Mayan history, and it was more of, they focused more on, I guess, their culture, and in the sense of, I guess how, they did Raiders of the Lost Ark, or even with, The Last Crusade, with the Holy Grail, yes, there was that, otherworldly kind of little add-on to the end, but it was based more in the actual legend and history and culture that's just been on Earth. And, the alien, I don't mind the alien twist. I just feel like they went too much into it. I feel like if they had said, if they had given the Mayans the credit, that they rightly deserve,
yes,
and then found something extremely extraordinary, maybe not the spaceship, but like an artifact or something that had expansive knowledge. fucking
legit,
goddamn it.
like, no, legit, well, because, I'm sorry, they wouldn't fucking find a smartphone in 1957. But if they found something, Doug, that they shouldn't find, that they really shouldn't have found, like, this is technology that we have right now. And this is, like, the soil around this is about, X thousand years old. That's not right. One thing I want to say, though,
or even if they found, different plants or animals or something, like, it's like, we have no idea what the hell this thing is.
Right. I see what you're trying to say.
And, made it a little more subdued and not like, no, there's an alien spaceship here. Like, alluding to the fact of, hey, they might have had contact with beings beyond the stars. Maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. But that's the big mystery. That's how it's supposed to be left,
Oh, I
like,
see.
You
so
wonder
you want it to be like a crazy mystery. You didn't like that it was just straight up like, nah, dude, they were fucking there.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? I heard that this was based upon movies at the time, sci-fi movies. So them being there actually makes sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, them actually, it being very, like, up front with you. Like, oh, no, they were there.
Right. It's like aliens exist, man.
Yeah.
You can't deny it
anymore.
anymore.
What I want to say is, I think they didn't go, okay, well, I do think you're correct. They should have went with the Mayans more in terms of, like, oh, yeah, like, they actually did this and this. But they went full conspiracy theory. But if they hadn't, right, okay, fine. I'm with you on that. However, I do think they should have went with the aliens further. Like, I think they didn't sit with them long enough. They were just there for, like, it would seem to me like 5 minutes, and then it was like, oh, no, spaceship flies off. And it's like, okay, and that's it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's the big reveal, and then that's it?
Or
also,
maybe,
the
like...
fact that they weren't aliens. They were multi-dimensional beings. So you still didn't even go through with all of it, because you were like, oh, no, but they're not aliens from our dimension. Actually, interdimensional. So they traveled here from another dimension. And I'm like,
to be honest,
really?
To be honest, I feel like they just didn't. I feel like people just didn't look into the actual word of interdimensional.
No, I'm thinking they did. It was 2009. Of course, Doctor Who existed for so many years. They looked into. They knew what interdimensional.
I don't know.
I just didn't, and I just feel like it's kind of just been. Like everyone's basically said, like, because I knew aliens existed. It's funny. Nobody, like, I didn't know that Shia LaBeouf was Indiana Jones' son, at least, or I didn't recall it, right? But aliens, I knew that shit from day one.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was like, this is shit, because aliens.
Plot twist. Indy's son is the alien. Oh!
That would have made a better movie.
Oh, God.
One thing I want to say, though, I love that they brought Marion back. Though.
Oh yeah, no, that was
that
great.
was an amazing part of the film. Although it's funny, I was expecting her to punch him in the face again, because they set the scene up.
I was kind of upset she didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yes. By the way, I want you to know too. I don't know if you noticed some similar shots or the way it was shot. If it looked a little bit similar to you, not to me completely, but that scene definitely looked like the first scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark. The reason why I mention it is because apparently the director, behind this movie, and a lot of the staff looked at the original trilogy to focus on how it was shot and to actually, and how it was shot. And no, like they actually studied it. Now, I don't think all of it resembled that at all.
No,
like I don't know,
but like
getting
like
fruitful,
similar screenshots and stuff like that. No, a lot of like
like it works with Marion.
Star Wars does that a lot too. But like that's a good idea. Like it really brings you back to like it's a way to connect, the newer movies with the older movies and not like just out of rehashing story and stuff. It's like no, you can do it in other ways. It's like that's what you use a movie for, kind of thing.
Yes. I will admit, though, some scenes definitely had it, though. Like, some scenes I could be like, you know what? Yeah, that actually works. That is, like, that reminds me of, like, the original 3 Indiana Jones films. But other parts of it, I guess, again, probably because of the CGI, I was like, you're not doing this the way the older indie movie would have, because now you have CGI, so it feels like you're just throwing certain things out the window. Like physics.
Yes.
In a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of.
Yeah. Now, again, it's hard to have Shia LaBeouf stand on two different cars, stand on a car and then do that, whatever. It's hard. I know. I get it. But because you have CGI now, you're like, no one needs to really think about it. And it's like, no, we're all thinking about it. Like, all of us are thinking of. But also, by the way, him being Marion's kid, before we even talk about him being, Harrison Ford / Indiana Jones' kid. Just him being Marion's kid, it's great because it shows you why he's so resilient right off the bat. Right? Like, because I will admit, like, he was able to do some stuff before before they even had the rapier fight that you and I both call bullshit on. That I was like, wow, even that seems like pretty resourceful for this kid. Like, he seemed to fit in with Indy very well, in my opinion.
Right.
Right? Although I laugh really hard at Indy being like, listen, just, hey, you know what? If it's what you like, do what you got to do. The second, Indy, he's your kid. Why didn't you keep him in school?
Right. You're going back to school. It's like, what? What?
No, I love it because it's just that mentality of, hey, you know what? You're not my kid. Because I see you as like a man. I see you as a quote-unquote man. You want to act like a man? You know what? Sure, you're a man. That's what you want to do. Honestly, if it's what you like, then go and do it. Like, Indy disagrees,
you can make your own choices.
Him.
Yeah, it's your life.
Yes. Yeah, he disagrees because he's a fucking teacher.
Right.
But it's like, he's an academic. I know it doesn't seem like he is, but he is. So, but he's like,
you're a teacher? Part-time.
Yeah, right? But the second it turns into, literally the second it turns into him being his kid, it's just like, no, my kid will not be a high school dropout. And I love it.
His name is Henry. Oh, well, that's lovely. I'm sure he's your son. What?
My God. It was just hilarious.
I love how he's like, why did you bother to tell me now? I thought we were going to die.
Fucking the KGB agent was like, I want all of you to shut up. The most shut up that you can.
Oh, God, that was beautiful. Oh, for the love of God, will you shut up?
I'm cool with it being a family reunion. I thought it was hilarious. I thought their interaction was great. One thing I want to say, though, is I loved, and this is why I said I asked you about Indiana Jones being more of an academic in this film, or like if you thought he was something, a little bit better than previous films. I love how he explained, it's like, that's quicksand. Actually, it is not quicksand. Like, it felt like a parody in itself because he was being so knowledgeable about it. Like, actually, it's not quicksand. However, quicksand actually isn't as bad as people think it is. And it's like, of course you would know.
It's a dry sand pit. Indy, we're not in class right now.
I thought that was probably the best part of the movie in terms of humor.
Yeah.
I think that was the best part of the film.
One thing.
What?
Oh, there is one big point for me in that scene that I did not like.
Please.
This made me rage so hard because, I love reptiles. I love reptiles. And
I hate
it when a snake is a rope is not going to work, no. And B, like, this fucking, I don't know how the fuck this misconception has fucking lived for this long. I just, I don't think
I've ever seen it before.
It's like, I know why, but at the same time, it's like one of those things that it's so fucking stupid. No, the whole thing, he's like, hold on tight, it's a bit slimy. Reptiles are not, I repeat, are not slimy at all.
Then why would it have not worked as a rope?
Because it's a living thing, and as soon as you grab on it and pull on it with that much tension, it would try and fucking kill you.
But it's a garden snake. It's not going to hurt you. I'm somewhat kidding.
Oh, I will punch you through this phone. Do not doubt me. The aliens are sitting next to me. They will tell me how to do it. I will ask them.
Use the Force, Luke. Wait, what?
I'm doing it.
Wait. What is it? I'm still looking for some. God, what is? Because I'm still looking through my notes, seeing what. Because I think we've mentioned a lot of stuff, a little bit out of order.
Yeah. Oh, there is an Easter egg at the beginning of the movie that we didn't mention. That's actually very big.
We saw the ark, right?
In the box.
Yeah. I was like, that shouldn't be so easy to see.
No, but I thought it was a nice nod. I thought it was like a nice little nod.
Yeah, I think it was cute. But talking about, just for a brief second, talking about the spaceship again. Yeah, because you were saying, why you thought it was bullshit. I mean, I think, like I said before, I think they didn't go far enough, and I think with, what they did do, like with what they did do, they didn't go far enough. And frankly, I don't know. I mean, it just felt like they could have done a little bit more, or not at all.
Like,
right?
Overall, I did enjoy the movie. I did like it. It shot itself in the foot a few times, but overall, I don't hate it. It's not my favorite indie movie, no, but it's not the worst one.
Did you? You were around. You were in the fandom when the movie came out. Why did people dislike it? Like, or do you remember why people said they disliked it? Like, vigorously.
The biggest thing I remember was just like everyone found out about the aliens thing, and everyone was just immediately like, "Oh, this is going to be completely stupid." Like, which, to be fair, like I kind of understood it, but at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, let's give it a chance. You haven't seen it yet. Yeah. But no, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And again, after seeing it, it's not the best Indiana Jones film by far, but it's tied with the worst, at the least. Right? It's weird. Like, I know they kind of both bastardize, different peoples in different ways, but it's weird. It's weird to make a contest out of who can bastardize a different culture the most. It's like, I feel like this movie did it at least less than Temple of Doom. So yeah, I'll give you that. Like, this was for screen time. For screen time, I definitely make that clear. It's for screen time. Because look at Raiders of the Lost Ark versus, like, in the beginning, versus how they did the Peruvian people here, like how they portrayed them here, right? Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Screen time. We're talking about screen time here. That's it, right? Unless you're considering the KGB that bad, in which case I understand your problem. But again, a lot in the Indiana Jones series, you can argue, just didn't happen, right? Like, just straight up, like, what didn't happen in the way that it did, right? Anyway, so we're gonna wrap things up here. Anything you want to say before we finish the show completely, Tristan? The one other beautiful scene that I loved was when they're just about to get to the spaceship and the staircase is going back into the wall, and there's that water spike pit at the bottom. And they fall in, and like they're close enough to the bottom, which honestly it didn't seem like they were that close when they fell, but then they fell and they were actually pretty close to the floor. But anyway, when Marion and Indy go to embrace, because, at that point they're just like, we've almost died like 5 times today. It's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a smooch. I just don't give a fuck at this point. Like, I want to feel something nice before I die, if it comes to that. And Shia's character just dives underwater in that stagnant, dead body-filled water. And tosses a mummy or a skeleton onto Indy and just says, "Here, hold this a second. Stop." It's like, "Here, hold this mummy, not my mommy." Actual cockbox Shia LaBeouf. Like, that's how it is. I mean, like, my God. It was his mom, so, I mean, I know, but it's just funny. I know, but it's just really funny, the depths that he went. By the way, I want to mention, looking at the monkeys for like 5 seconds, maybe one of them was real. But then at another point, it just got to the point where it was like, not all of you're all fake. All of this is fake. Yeah. Like, well, honestly, I'm glad they didn't try to recreate that with a real monkey, because that would be really fucked up. No, and the first part where he's just looking at monkeys him like, hi. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. And it's funny because when they were jumping onto the car and like attacking the KGB agents. No. Yeah. I'm talking about mostly like when he's in the forest being Tarzan. Monkeys wouldn't do that either. I love you so much. That would not happen. I love you so much. Like, you're just the one here, just like, by the way, like, this UFO shit, like, I mean, I know I technically said it didn't happen, but it could. I mean, because, like, they could exist. But the monkeys, no.
No. Like,
Yeah.
I love that we have you here as this guy. Like, I love it.
They're not following you into battle like Tarzan and attacking the KGB agents. It's like, they're destroying our forest, get them! It's like, no, primates would run the fuck away because they know humans are a bad thing.
Right. But especially KGB agents. I mean, damn.
Oh, God. Honestly, I thought they were going to attack Shia's character because it's like, yeah, it's, you're in their territory. Primates are pretty damn territorial. More species than others, but yeah. And when a monkey smiles at you, that's not a good thing.
Actually,
it's not because he's happy. It's because
actually,
they're fucking pissed off.
You know what's even
They show
funnier?
their teeth.
This came out in 2009.
Yeah.
Fucking the wild thornberries taught me that.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus. Although those ants are legit, right?
That I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm going to assume yes because nature. Like, I feel like there are ants that have to. I don't think they're that large in number and that horrifying. But again, nature can be horrifying.
I don't think they're that gigantic. Oh yeah.
But nature can be horrifying.
I could totally see groups of ants.
Australia.
Like fire ants. Like if you destroy a fire ant hill, they will come after you, and if you get bitten enough, you will be in some serious shit. I don't know. I think they may have fused some different species of ants to make those.
Okay. Right.
Because there are species, I don't remember where they originate, but I'm pretty sure I forget where I heard of them, but they're called bullet ants, and it's basically like the name describes, like when this thing bites you because its jaws are so massive, it hurts like fuck. So,
so
it's
I have a question for you. So, with the crystal skull doing that, like where he put it down and then the crystal skull basically caused them to just move away from Indy and the KGB guy, is that a bit like life crystal? Is that because I didn't see any life crystals in this movie, which I think was also a big issue because we saw that in Disney's Dinosaur, and Disney's Dinosaur wouldn't lie to us.
Oh my God.
By the way, I loved how vicious this fight was. It was real and it was brutal. No, it was real. Like, even if Indy was younger, still, it's like you can't just take a man down by punching him 3 times. Like, it's real. Like, he's going to punch. But, of course, Indy's resilient, so it's not like 2 punches is going to be dead. But, you can't just, it's like a real fight isn't usually just, one-hit KO.
Right.
It's
rough. It takes a few hits, but, older guy, you take 3 hits as an older guy, it's you're probably going to fall on your ass and stay there for a few seconds and be like, oh, do I really want to get up again right now?
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. But, I do like the KGB agent was very spry because, again, he's trained for this shit.
Right, yes, he's fucking military, so yes.
Exactly, yes.
He should be able to take a few hits and be like, is that all you got? And
to think about it, at this point of the story, Indy's also ex-military.
Yes, that's true. So
at this point in the story.
At this point in the story. That's why I found it funny at the beginning when the guy backhands him across the face and says, tell us what we want to know. I thought for sure he was going to laugh at him and be like, I've had a Nazi who hit harder than you.
Yeah. But I loved it. I loved the whole you're right. I should have said, no, comrade. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great. The comrade line was really funny to me. But anyway, so let's finish up here. Again, thank you all for listening in. Very happy to have Tristan on again. Last Indiana Jones movie you're doing for, obviously, until the 5th one. But, of course, we'll be doing other Friday Night Movies podcasts with either with Tristan or with Anthony. But anywho, the point is that we are ending the show, as always. Thank you all. But we're going to talk about our merchandise for just a little tiny second. Are those
Sponsored
guys play
by Crystal
guys
Skull.
on the radio? Right, yeah. Those guys on the radio and those guys play merchandise that you can find on our website, thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com/merchandise. Also, you can find our podcasts through our main website, as I just told you. You can also find our podcasts through our Facebook, which is /thoseguysontheradio, our Twitter, which is @thoseguysradio, our Instagram, which is also /thoseguysontheradio, and I already mentioned those 3. You can also find them on our iTunes, which you can search up Those Guys, or on our YouTube channel, Those Guys on the Radio. Search up Those Guys on the Radio. For our Let's Plays, you can just search up Those Guys Play. And we have a very fun, interesting thing going on for the next week, well, up until Monday, 5 days. So we have, starting on Wednesday, what we have is we have an Animal Crossing event going on. We're trying to do one new Animal Crossing a day. I'm having technical difficulties, so if one doesn't come out one day, you will be supplemented with 2 the next day. Yeah. So basically we're having one come out every day until our attempted live event, where I say attempted because nothing is ever, especially with our computer troubles, but we're going to be having an attempted live event with Animal Crossing, right, on Labor Day. So we're going to try to do a live event on our YouTube channel, Those Guys Play, with myself and Anthony Toto, who he and I have been playing. And you know Anthony Toto, Tristan. Might be best friends with him, whatever. You know Anthony Toto. Yeah. We've been doing Animal Crossing. Yeah, right. He's an alien, too. We've been doing Animal Crossing. That's how he's learning about events. He's just like, Labor Day? What is Labor Day? Yeah, just playing with Animal Crossing. I'm going to tell him about that. I'm going to tell him to listen to this show, and he's going to get mad at you. Or he's going to laugh really hard. I don't know which. I really don't know which anymore. Both, yeah. So anyway, so Those Guys Play, and you also have Matt beats games from his childhood on Those Guys Play as well. I am being Matt. Oh God, I'm the alien. I'm Matt, beating games from my childhood, currently beating Mega Man X. Some other ones are on the way, along the pipeline, really cool, fun stuff you should check out. We also have our TG Productions YouTube channel, which you search up TG Productions. And speaking of Shia LaBeouf, from his long rant, right? He had a very long rant. If many of you remember the whole Just Do It rant, 30 minutes long, a lot of different monologues. So we're doing a series called Motivational Movies, where we take Shia LaBeouf quotes and put them to public domain films, like some Sherlock Holmes films, Night of the Living Dead, and Debbie Does Dallas. And we're just, I think, just making some real comedy gold. So, I mean, I'm making it, but I think it's comedy gold, Tristan. So definitely check that out. And our show, TG News, which is nerd news with a fun little twist. We'll be doing some more in the near future, kind of condensing it, but doing a little bit more in the near future. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. And, of course, if you like this show or if you don't like this show, whichever one, and you want to either donate to us, help us, kind of do our thing, or you just want us to do a specific show or a specific game to play or whatever it might be, go on our Patreon account, TG Productions, and on there you could actually tell us, depending on what tier you pay for. First off, anything you donate matters to us, and we thank you, right? But depending on what you donate, how much you donate, rather, you'll either get the chance to say, oh, we'd like to do this podcast or this podcast, on this movie or this TV show, or, oh, we'd love to do this video game, whatever video game it is. We'd love you to play it with, let's say, Tristan or Anthony or something like that. Definitely do that. Or, you might want to be a sponsor on our shows, depending on what you pay. You can be a sponsor on, a bunch of different podcasts that we're doing, depending on how many. You'll see it on our Patreon, what we've listed. You can be, a sponsor, or you can be the same thing, a sponsor for our Let's Plays or for TG News. Basically what it is we're just giving you a shout-out on the show. We're like, hey, thank you for what you do, and we'll give you a shout-out live either on the podcast or on the Let's Play or via TG News. So there's that, and we're also bringing a manga over from Japan who'll give my regards to Blackjack. If any of you are interested in that, again, go on our Patreon account, look at the FAQ, see what it's all about, and depending on what tier you donate, you can either get the first or second volume, either bundled together or separate. You can also get get them either digital or physical. You can also get a T-shirt and a poster from the same series as well. So definitely check out our Patreon if you guys are interested, or just email us, thoseguysradio@gmail.com, just to give us a shout-out of any kind. And check out our eBay, Those Guys Radio, to get some really cool T-shirts, not just from our website, but you also get posters that are exclusive to our eBay account. So a lot of fun stuff there. So we're going to end things here. Good night, everyone. We love you, and say good night, Tristan.
Good night, everyone.
Crystal Skulls.
I got a bad feeling about this.